Hello musicians, Bucky Dirtle here. I'm doing another video tutorial on the VCV rack DAW. Now this is a fantastic application. I have to tell you, I'm very excited about this. It's a great application. It's a lot of fun, and we can make some really cool music with it, make some really good sounds. Very exciting. I know that I'm using this. I can see lots of applications for things for film and making music and all kinds of things. Is very, very exciting. And besides, it's just a lot of fun to use. Now, I'm going to show you a couple things today. I'm going to show you how to use the mixer, first of all, the VC mixer. I'm going to show you how patching works, and I'm going to show you how to connect and start working with your VCO to your mixer. Now, first of all, let's start with the mixer. So when you start working in here in any modular synthesis, you're going to want a mixer. Now, just think about a mixer. When you think about that in general music terms, you picture a studio with a guy sitting behind a console, and he or she is like sliding all the sliders up and down. And well, that's a mixer. Every slider is a different instrument. Every slider is a different track. We have the same thing in here, but we don't have a gigantic mixer. We don't really need one. In this one here, the VC mixer, we have three channels, and so we have three different knobs to turn. Now you can get more mixers, and you can add them in. You can bigger mixers. You can multiply the mixers. Do all kinds of cool things, but we only need three for now. Now, how do you find the mixer? Now, if I right-click here on one of the dark gray areas here on the in rack, I get my my modules, and if I go to fundamental gives us some very basic, simple modules that just do what we need them to do. There are other manufacturers that make modules that do some really funky things, and fundamental does some funky things too, but they are very utilitarian. They do what we need them to do. So click fundamental, and here we have VC mixer right here. Okay, we have some other things too you can play with, but we're going to look at VC mixer. So if I click it, there you go. It gives me a mixer right here. Nothing to it. Now I'm going to delete that guy, and you can do that by right-clicking and go to delete, or I can select it with my left mouse button and hit the delete key. Now, because I have a mixture right here already, and I can actually, you can move it around other places and stuff, but I'm going to keep it right here, and you can see that it's some wires hanging off of it already. So let me just show you what some of this is doing. In the mixer, we have a channel. Let's start channel 1. Channel 1, channel 2, and channel 3. Now each of those is connected to a different part of my setup here, and they're getting different sounds. Now don't worry about what these look like over here. Don't worry about what this looks like, because this really is not part of the lesson. I'll get rid of that panel there, get rid of that. This is not part of the lesson. All we need to worry about is the mixer itself right here in the center. So we have a sound source coming here. Don't worry where it comes from. We have a blue sound source, and I can turn up my sound source. And if I can turn it down again. And, oh, and by the way, if you want to turn something down immediately, or you right-click. If you right-click, it'll turn it back to its original state. And that goes for everything. Like, say, if you have any kind of, you may have all these things set whatever ways, like this. And you can go right-click, whoopsie daisy, right-click, right-click. And everything will go back to its default setting. So, and that goes for all the buttons that you see in here, all the dials you see in here in rack. So we have a blue input right here, we have a yellow input, and we have like a dark gray input. And I can balance those. I can have each one of those playing at the same time. And depending on how you're balancing, you may get a sound that you're really interested in. Maybe a sound that you really want. quite possible. I'm going to turn these off again. Quite possible, but that's our 3 mixers. Now our master volume is up at the top. So again, if I turn this up a little bit, and turn that up a little bit, and turn this up a little bit, my master volume is up here. That's my master volume up here at the top. Okay, now my master out is right here. That's my master out. Now I'm going out right now to my my main output. This goes out to my computer. This gives you my inputs for my computer, my outputs for my computer, and stuff like that. So this is my main input output right here for my computer. Don't have to worry about what this is right now and how to use it, because I'm going to cover this in another tutorial. But right now, all you got to understand is that this out is going out to the computer. Going out to the computer's headphones, computer speakers, right here. That's what that's going to. I also have another out going down here to this scope. And if you watch again, it shows me the waveform. I really like that. I always have a scope running, and you know, when I was preparing this tutorial, I thought maybe I should turn the scope off because I don't want people to be confused. But you know what? I think it's really worth having it here because I can show you the sounds, what they look like, and I have this running all the time because I want to see what the sounds are doing all the time. And you can see, like, with some of these changes I make, it makes the sound waves change. And I could do other things like this, like that, and you can see the changes. So I leave that open. Now you don't have to worry about how to use the scope right now or anything like that, but I'm just letting you know that it is there, and I will be covering it in another lesson later. Right now we're focused on the mixer. Now we also have outs on the side here. Now if I take my, this is an out that goes to one of my speakers, and this is an out that goes to one of my speakers. I'm going to disconnect that. I'll leave that one connected. But if I wanted to, I can actually take this out and I can connect it to channel 1. You can hear it. Now I don't know if you're listening in stereo where you are, but I'll take both of these. Now it's in stereo. But this is now channel 1, so I can turn up channel 2 all I want, but I'm not going to hear it because that's just channel 1. I can get rid of that and get rid of that. I can take channel 2. I can put channel 2 in one ear, and if I wanted to, channel 3 in the other. So I got 2 separate ears, 2 separate channels. You can do that. Or if I wanted to, I could even go out from here. Oops, I'll leave it there. Out from here and get the main out. And I can take channel 2 and just go to 3. Oh, it's endless. It's endless what we can do with this. But for now, I'm going to connect our channels back up to the main out right there. Oops. Our main out. Now you see that what I'm doing here now, I'm patching. Now the second topic of this lesson today is patching. And I'm going to show you that in a second, but before I get off of everything with the mixer, I want to tell you another thing. We have CV and control voltage. Now control voltage, we're going to be talking about control voltage a lot in here. It's not the topic of discussion today. But all I will say about control voltage is when we use actual electricity voltage, to actually control the parameters of our music, of our sound production. So you can control all kinds of things with control voltage, all kinds of things. But we're not going to get into it today, but I just want to point out that that's what that is. It's a controller input. But we'll get into more of that later. But I just want to let you know that that's what that CV means. And we will be using that in the future. But not today. So that's the mixer. Now I want to talk to you a little bit about patching. Now I've kind of covered patching as I was doing this with you. You can see that I can haul patch cables all over the place. You know, haul between modules and back and forth and all, you know, all over the place. I can do all kinds of weird and wonderful things with the patch cables. You know, lots of wild stuff. So, and you know, you can patch things together, and sometimes it'll make sound, sometimes it won't, and you wonder what happened, and you'll realize that one of your patch cables is not connected. But patching is quite simple. Let me just give you the basics of it. I'm going to go over here. I'm gonna get rid of this. Now I'll leave that connected. Right now, I'm going to disconnect that, and I'm going to disconnect this, guy. I'm going to disconnect that guy. And all I do when I'm disconnecting is I just pull the catch cable out and I just let it go, and it disappears. Over here on my VCO, my oscillator, I have a sine wave number 1. I have a triangle wave from number 1, and I have a saw wave. Whoopsie daisy, saw wave. Here we go, like that. Yellow, red, and blue. Now those are 3 patches. You saw what I did. Now, let me just show you again. See if you missed something here. I click on the sine wave and I'm start a patch. And when I do, look all around the interface. Look over here and look over here. Look all around the interface. As soon as I click on the sine wave, some things gray out and some things don't. When they're grayed out, I can't connect to them. Look, I can't connect to this. Look, I can't. But I can connect to this. Look, I can connect to all these. I can connect to these. I can't connect to these guys. Connect over here. I can't. Can't connect here. I can connect here. So when you do click your mouse and hold it down, it shows you what you can connect to. So when I'm patching, I can patch my sine wave. I can go in right here on my mixer. Now you might be saying, why in on a mixer? Okay, well, I haven't talked to you about paths yet, but I'm going to. I'm going to talk to you about paths. But I will just briefly touch on it. The oscillator here makes a sine wave. It makes a sound, basically. And so the sine wave comes out of here, and you want it to go into channel 3. Channel 3 will come out of channel 3 and go into your speaker. Or it will go to the master, which is what we're doing. We're coming out of the master and going to your speaker. So that's the way it works. So let me just show you again. If I want to take triangle wave, it'll come out of the triangle wave, can go into channel 2, and then we can actually come out of channel 2 and go into our inputs. Now I can't do it. I can't connect to it while there are inputs already in here, because you can't have 2 sources to like one of the outputs. So let me get rid of these guys. So I can come out of here and go into here. See that? That's not a very nice cable. That's a black cable. Gross. Yellow cable. That's nicer. So, and you see that every time I take a cable, it gives a new color. See that? So I'll try a new one and I get green. Look at that. So, and you may actually want to do that. Like, you may want to keep your stuff organized. You might say, well, this path is going through here. I want to keep it green. So you may want to go blue, black, yellow, red, green. You might want to do that. It's up to you. It's nice to be organized. This can get a bit of a rat's nest if you're not careful, so it's nice to be organized. But you can see that the sine wave goes out of here into channel 2, and then out of channel 2 into outputs. Now you're not hearing any sound, of course, because the volume's turned down. And look down at our scope. Triangles. Look at that. What about a saw wave? What would that look like on our scope? It looks like a saw. How about a sine wave? Look. Square wave? Well, that's got some pulse width going on, I believe. So it's a bit strange looking. But that's okay. So we'll talk about that another time. So you see, that's basically how it works. That's patching. It's a piece of cake. Now, I also want to talk to you today about how the VCO connects to the mixer. And in showing you the patching, I've been showing you how the VCO connects to the mixer. So you can see again, I'll just recap, because all of this stuff is that we're learning. I'm trying to do it in a way that one thing helps you connect to another thing. No pun intended, of course, but I like for one concept to connect to the next concept, and the next concept connect to the next one. So we're now learning about how we will connect the VCO to the mixer. Now let me just refresh your mind a bit. First of all, the VCO is not going to be talked about a whole lot in this topic. We're going to learn all about the VCO in another topic, in another lesson. But today, we're just going to go over the basics. The VCO is an oscillator. It makes a sound wave. It makes a wave. And then the wave can then be manipulated whatever way we want. It's almost like you can take flour. If you're making some food, you can take flour, and you can manipulate flour all kinds of different ways to make it all kinds of things. It's still flour. But by the time you're finished, it's a cake. Well, it's like this. VCO can make a sine wave, and you can change it and manipulate it and bake it and shake it. And at the end of the day, it's going to sound like something completely different, but it's still a sine wave in there. So we have several waves, and we're going to talk about waves in another lesson. But we take the waves, and we connect the waves into a channel. You can use any channel you want. There's not one channel for one wave, but we choose a channel, and then we can adjust our volume accordingly. Now let me get this up to here. There we go. And that guy over there, you go. And so now we have our sound. So that's how you connect the oscillator to the mixer. And I'm just showing you with the fundamentals oscillator. But there's actually a second oscillator here in fundamentals. This is oscillator 2, and we can do the same thing. I can go out. Let me clear this off. Get these guys out of the way. This is another oscillator. It looks a little different. No big deal about it. It's pretty much the same sort of thing. And we connect it in. You can change your frequency up here. You can change the wave type to square wave, sine wave, triangle, saw. That's all adjustable. We'll talk about that in another lesson. And the out is here. But you know what? It's an oscillator. It's a VCO, voltage control oscillator. So we have voltage control oscillator 1 and voltage control oscillator number 2. And we're going to talk more about these later, but they're found here in fundamental 1 and 2. Now, if you go into audible instruments, you're also going to find oscillators. Look at this. Oscillators in here too. If you go into this guy, look, VCO, even VCO. You're going to see that one. And then there's other ones too. Grayscale, E-series. There's other things that you're going to find other oscillators in other packages. So that is it. That's the basics of it. So if you have any questions about this lesson today, feel free to comment in the comment box below, and I will do my best to get back to you. Good luck with your music, and I'll see you next time.